Yeah, welcome to the first episode of the Ability Conversation Room. This is where we talk about everything that has to do with disability, the myths around it, our relationship life, educational life, living in the society, and every other thing about disability. Here you are allowed to ask any and every question that you would like to know. And subsequently, you will decide the topics that we'll be discussing. So, welcome for a show. Before we go further, you want to know who your driver is, right? And so, my name is Medo Onyema. I'm someone who have lived with disability since I was two. I would say for over 4 decades. I've been living with, living in, surviving with majorly, and it's not been an easy journey, if I must say, because I find myself in a society that was not built with people like me in mind. So it has been a journey of innovation. Right from when I was little, I had to learn how to use the crutches. I had to know how to navigate structures that were not designed for persons with disability. I've had to learn how to live and basically survive, thrive, learn. From my primary school, it had always been a major challenge because I had to learn how to use the crutches, and then with the crutches, I had to navigate the difficult structures. I had to learn how to cope with facilities that were not designed with me in mind. For example, the toilet systems. Many times, I remember when I was a lot younger, and this story, I don't know if I should say it or not, but I'll just cut it short. In the long run, I came as a boy, but went home as a lady. For those who attended St. Joseph Primary School, you will know what I'm talking about. So there are times that it has been so very low, but I had to pick myself up. And thank God for the friends that I had. It was exciting to have friends who motivated, who always stood by, encouraged, and believed so much in you. They believed so much in me, I felt it would be very wrong for me to disappoint them. But I would say the real energy started from my mom and my dad because they never treated me differently. I was able to do virtually everything every other child did. I swept, I washed, I bathed my younger ones, and I did basically at home. It never occurred to me that I was physically challenged in any way. So for me, I built on that energy. Yes, going from primary school to secondary school, with each elevation, even up to tertiary, it felt like I had to deal with more difficult structures. And I knew that I had no other option, but I had to go through school. If not, it would have been a very, which affects many others. I happen to be a few of those that did not give up, or that just fell by the roadside. I kept pushing and pushing because I felt like if I can get these certificates, if I can go through school, if I can qualify, it will give me more level ground to compete with my peers and to have a good life. But unfortunately, that was not the case. After my first degree, computer science, to my master's, my MBA, I thought I would just get a job just like that. But lo and behold, I found myself without job for 11 good years. 11 good amazing years. And one thing that felt off was you then meet with your colleagues and it looks like you are lazy. Oh, with all the school and everything, you were not able to find employment. And the story was it was not like it was just dormant. It was a case of I send my CV, they see it, they fall in love with it, and before you know it, call me for a personal interview, and that on its own is a challenge. But then when you now show up in person, they see the wheelchair, and you practically know that the opportunity is slipping away from their expressions because they were shocked to see that, oh, this person on a wheelchair. I'll give you two instances. There was one that was in Ilorin. I went with my elder brother Upon getting there, a car rolled in, and the person who was supposed to interview me came out of the car, and I just saw him navigating towards my brother. My brother got so upset and I had to say, yeah, no, I'm not the one you are going to interview. He's the one. Talk to him directly. But I saw that he fought with it, he struggled with it. He couldn't even face me and ask questions. In short, the interview didn't hold. It ended there. That was one. Now, during the course of the 11 years of wait, I kept saying to myself, no year will pass me by without me adding something to myself. So I went into graphics design. I went into marketing communication. All these things, hoping that it will help boost what I have already and position me rightly to be able to get the necessary job that I required. But then I found out that that was not even the case again. It happened that I got a particular it was a branding media house kind of thing, and I got there. They gave me the task to come up, redesign their logo, that's reproduce their logo. I did just that, and they were amazed. They kept singing my praise till I left, and next thing I got a call or a text message inviting me for a one-on-one with the MD. I got there, I met the MD. Himself was, he said he had all the balls and all the excitement, and then he wanted to see me for himself. But that he will not like seeing me one on one. He's wondering how I'm going to cope in their system. So he said to me that he was going to give me a first 3 months probation time to see if I'll be able to work with their system. Another 3 months again after that, which is the normal 3 months they give every other person who joins the organization. So that I was going to have like a 6 month probation period before I start. I looked at it, I couldn't do anything more. This was almost the closest to the dream I had in terms of working. So I told him no problem, I was ready to take the 6 months challenge. And then he promised that the HR officer will reach out to me, and then from there we'll take it up and all of that. And then I waited 1 month. I waited 2 months, and it went to 3 months. I had to call the HR personnel, and he kept giving me stories from the MD traveled, so he's not the one to take decisions. The MD is the one to take decisions. After a while, he himself said he was no longer working there, and that was how that story ended. And so I had to find a way of generating funds. I won't lie. At some point, I had to start calling friends, family, colleagues, and you know how that can be. At some point, it looks like you're a bother. At some point, you get to hear some things you shouldn't hear on the norm, and then it got worse. It felt funny. But cut the long story short, I started doing some little gigs on my own, and I was basically surviving on that, plus some help here from one friend, from help there from another friend, till I got to a point where I met who I call a godsend, and on on that program, being her face while she was not around. Rather, I had to be her face when she was not around, and so because of that, I kept building. I kept building. She got so interested in me. She said she called to till today. She had made me her brother, and she said she would make sure wherever she goes, I go. And that was how I got my major gig, my first gig on the radio. And from that, it's been one to another. It took me to another phase that of challenges that persons with disability have. And what is that? Is the fact that even though you are brought into the system, there will be some form of limitation if the structure is not designed to suit the person with disability. It's very good for us to actually endeavor to make sure that their structures, you see, this is the truth. Anytime you design, you create a system that does not accommodate persons with disability, what you are saying in essence is that they don't exist. I can't understand if you have a mall that exists and everybody goes there, it's a public space. But for persons with disability, they go there and they cannot use the restroom. What you are saying is don't come the next time because we are scared, just like everybody is scared. When you get pressed or you are in an unfortunate situation, how do you handle such? And so it goes on and on and on, the challenges that we live with. Subsequently, we'll be talking about challenges that I faced, and I believe every other physically or any form of disability persons have faced growing up and we are still living with. And this is why it's important we talk about it. I believe that if our government is well educated and people in authority are well educated or informed, then things should be better. Things should take a better look. So that's what you start to enjoy, or what we will be doing in the course of this particular show. I'll stop here for now, and I would implore us to follow this show as closely as possible. This show is designed not to be one way. It's designed so that we get feedback from you too. So if you have any particular topic you want us to talk about or to shed more light on, or your personal, see, we judge no people here. We don't judge here. We listen, we don't judge. All we need to do is to enlighten ourselves and grow together. Because I believe that an inclusive society is a healthy society. I must conclude. But then, that being said, I will be looking forward to more of your interactions, and I would love you to like, comment, and turn on your notification button so that our subsequent episodes you'll be able to tag along and follow closely. Till then, keep your environment inclusive.